Valentina stood before the grand, intimidating door of the Salazar mansion, her heart racing with a tumultuous blend of anxiety and anticipation. She took a deep breath, adjusted her pristine white uniform, and pressed the doorbell, her fingers trembling slightly. The door creaked open, revealing an opulent entrance hall adorned with elegant decor that exuded a somber, almost haunting atmosphere. A chill ran down her spine as she took in the grandeur. If you are not subscribed, I recommend you subscribe and activate the bell so you don't miss any videos. Eduardo, Pablo's father, stepped forward to greet her. He was a man in his middle years, his face etched with lines of worry and exhaustion, reflecting a life weighed down by burdens. "Welcome, Valentina," he said, his smile strained and weary. "I'm Eduardo, Pablo's father. We're grateful you could come." "Thank you for this opportunity, Mr. Salazar." Valentina responded warmly, shaking his hand with a firm grip. As they proceeded towards the main hall, Eduardo began to outline the daily routines and their expectations for her role. Valentina listened intently, her mind meticulously cataloging every detail, determined to meet their needs. Upon reaching the grand foyer, they encountered Alicia, Pablo's stepmother. Her icy, distant gaze starkly contrasted with Eduardo's welcoming demeanor. "Hello, Alicia," Eduardo greeted her. "This is Valentina, Pablo's new nurse." Alicia offered a terse nod, her lips pressed into a thin line, unwilling to extend a smile. "Pleased to meet you," Valentina said politely, her voice steady despite the chill in Alicia's eyes. "I trust you are competent in your duties," Alicia replied coldly, her tone harsh and unforgiving. "Pablo requires extensive care." Valentina's resolve hardened as she faced Alicia's scrutiny, vowing silently to prove her dedication and skill. The weight of the responsibility ahead settled heavily on her shoulders, but she was ready to face the challenge head-on. Valentina felt an icy shiver travel down her spine, yet she maintained her composure. "I will do my best," she assured Alicia with a steady voice. Just as the tension seemed to mount, Benjamin, Pablo's grandfather, entered the scene. He was an elderly man with eyes that radiated a comforting blend of warmth and sorrow. "Valentina, I'm Benjamin, Pablo's grandfather." "Thank you for being here," he said, his handshake firm and reassuring. Valentina felt a wave of relief wash over her, grateful for his genuine kindness. "It's a pleasure to meet you, Mr. Benjamin," she replied, her tension easing slightly. After the strained introductions, Eduardo guided Valentina to Pablo's room. As the door swung open, the beeping of medical equipment filled the room. Pablo lay still in bed, surrounded by monitors and tubes, his face serene yet strikingly fragile. "This is where he spends most of his time," Eduardo said with a heavy sigh. "Our son used to be so active before the accident." Valentina gazed at Pablo, her heart swelling with a mix of sadness and determination. She knew the road ahead would be fraught with challenges, but her resolve to provide the best possible care for him was unwavering. "I'll do everything in my power to help him," she declared, her voice filled with unwavering determination. As she stood by Pablo's bedside, the weight of her responsibility settled upon her. The path would not be easy, but Valentina was ready to face whatever lay ahead, driven by a fierce commitment to restore some semblance of normalcy to Pablo's life. In the days that followed, Valentina plunged deeply into her responsibilities, acquainting herself with every nuance of Pablo's medical needs and the intricate therapies he was undergoing. As hours turned into days, she began to sense underlying tensions within the household. Eduardo, though kind-hearted, appeared perpetually subdued under the oppressive influence of Alicia, who openly harbored disdain for Pablo. One afternoon, while adjusting a monitor, Valentina overheard a muffled argument outside the door. It was Alicia and Eduardo, their voices strained and hushed. "It was my father who hired her, not me." There's nothing else we can do. Eduardo's tone was tinged with desperation. I don't want any more complications in this house. Because of him, Alicia's voice was icy and unyielding. A knot tightened in Valentina's stomach as she realized the complexities of the Salazar household were far more entangled than she had anticipated. Despite the tension, Valentina found a steadfast ally in Benjamin, Pablo's grandfather. An elderly man with kind, gray eyes, Benjamin cherished his grandson deeply and was unwavering in his commitment to Pablo's well-being. "Thank you for taking care of my grandson," Benjamin remarked one afternoon, his gaze softening as he watched Valentina diligently at work. "Pablo deserves all the love and attention in the world." "It's my pleasure, mister." Benjamin, Valentina replied warmly, smiling at the old man. "I will do everything I can for him." Benjamin nodded, visibly moved by her dedication. Valentina felt buoyed by his support, knowing that with his backing and her unwavering determination, she could truly make a difference in Pablo's life. Yet she remained acutely aware of the need to stay vigilant, bracing herself for the inevitable challenges posed by Alicia and the fraught family dynamics. Valentina settled into her daily routine at the Salazar residence, meticulously observing every aspect of her surroundings. Pablo lay motionless in his bed, surrounded by softly humming machines, a constant reminder of his delicate state. Despite her focus on his care, Valentina couldn't shake the growing sense that something was amiss. One day, as she adjusted Pablo's medication, she stumbled upon an unlabeled vial hidden behind the others. Her brow furrowed as she scrutinized it. What was this clear liquid, and why was it not labeled? A shiver of unease coursed through her, but she knew she needed to remain cautious and not jump to conclusions. In the days that followed, Valentina monitored Pablo's reactions with heightened vigilance. While his condition remained largely unchanged, she began to notice subtle signs of responsiveness, a faint twitch of his fingers, an unexpected blink, small indicators that might have gone unnoticed by others, but not by her attentive eyes. One afternoon, as she spoke softly to Pablo, she casually mentioned his family. The moment the word family left her lips, Pablo's heart rate monitor registered a slight uptick. Intrigued, Valentina leaned in closer, whispering, "Pablo, if you can hear me, move a little, anything." To her astonishment, Pablo's finger moved ever so slightly. Though minimal, the gesture was monumental to Valentina, akin to a shout. The fear and uncertainty she detected in that tiny movement fueled her suspicions further. Who or what was Pablo afraid of? What secrets lurked within the walls of the Salazar house? Determined to uncover the truth, Valentina continued her care with renewed purpose. She knew that to protect Pablo and provide the best care, she needed to be vigilant, wary of the hidden dynamics at play within the household. Each day, her resolve strengthened, driven by the desire to unearth the mysteries surrounding Pablo's condition and the unsettling environment of the Salazar residence. Valentina decided to document every little anomaly she observed, meticulously recording each of Pablo's movements and reactions in a notebook she kept close at all times. Meanwhile, Alicia's demeanor grew increasingly controlling and demanding. Her instructions regarding Pablo's care were precise, but Valentina detected a chilling coldness and a lack of genuine concern in her voice. Eduardo appeared torn, caught between his desire to care for his son and the overpowering influence of Alicia. Benjamin, although loving and concerned, seemed equally constrained under Alicia's oppressive shadow. One night, Valentina decided to re-examine the medication. As she reorganized the vials, she found the mysterious unlabeled vial once more. This time, she resolved to take it with her for later analysis. Just as she slipped it into her pocket, the door swung open and Alicia entered, her expression stern. "What are you doing?" Alicia's voice was cold and sharp. "Just organizing the medication," Valentina replied, striving to sound calm and nonchalant. Alicia's eyes narrowed as she scrutinized Valentina for a tense moment before turning on her heels and leaving the room. Valentina knew she had to be more cautious. Alicia must not discover her suspicions. From that moment on, Valentina's vigilance intensified. She carefully observed every interaction, noting the nuances of the household dynamics. Alicia's increasing scrutiny made Valentina's task more challenging, but it also fueled her determination to uncover the truth. Valentina's nights were sleepless, spent poring over her notes and the mysterious vial. She reached out discreetly to a trusted friend in the medical field, hoping to analyze the contents without drawing attention. Every day, the atmosphere in the Salazar house grew more oppressive, the air thick with unspoken tensions. Despite the challenges, Valentina found solace in her growing bond with Benjamin. His quiet strength and unwavering love for Pablo reassured her that she was not alone in her quest. Together, they formed a silent alliance, united by their determination to protect Pablo and uncover the hidden truths within the Salazar household. As the days passed, Valentina's resolve only deepened. She knew that the path ahead would be fraught with dangers and obstacles, but she was prepared to face them all. For Pablo's sake, and for the truth that lay hidden in the shadows of the Salazar mansion, Valentina vowed to stay vigilant and persevere, no matter the cost. That same night, Valentina approached Benjamin with a sense of urgency and showed him the vial. "Mr. Benjamin, I found this among Pablo's medications. It has no label, and I don't know what it contains." Benjamin frowned deeply as he examined the vial. "This is very concerning, Valentina. We need to find out what it is and why it's here." Valentina nodded, feeling a blend of unease and determination. "We should take this to a lab for analysis. We can't take any risks with Pablo's health." As they discussed their next steps, Alicia entered the room, her expression colder and more suspicious than ever. "What are you two doing?" she asked sharply. Valentina turned quickly, striving to remain composed. "We're just reviewing Pablo's medications to ensure everything is in order." Alicia scrutinized them for a tense moment, her eyes scanning the room with a calculating gaze. "I've decided we need a second opinion. I've called Dr. Honorio, a trusted doctor. He'll be here tomorrow." Valentina exchanged a wary glance with Benjamin. Something felt off, but they knew they had to bide their time and see what this new doctor would uncover. The following day arrived with palpable tension hanging in the air of the Salazar house. Dr. Honorio, a middle-aged man with an impeccably professional appearance, arrived promptly. His smile was polished, almost too perfect, and his eyes revealed no emotion. "Good morning," he greeted them in a detached, professional tone. "I'm Dr. Honorio. I'm here to review Pablo's condition." Valentina observed the doctor carefully, noting his composed demeanor and meticulous manner. As Dr. Honorio began his examination, she couldn't shake the feeling that there was more beneath his polished surface. "We'll start with a thorough review of Pablo's medical records, Doctor," Honorio announced, his voice steady. "Please gather all relevant documentation." Valentina and Benjamin hurried to comply, gathering the necessary files and medications. Throughout the day, Valentina kept a close watch on Dr. Honorio, noting his precise movements and the way he interacted with Alicia. The tension in the house was almost unbearable, with Alicia's icy presence looming over every interaction. As the day progressed, Dr. Honorio's examination revealed little beyond what they already knew. However, Valentina's instincts told her not to trust appearances. She discreetly approached Benjamin once more. "Mr. Benjamin, we can't ignore our concerns. We need to have that vial analyzed, no matter what," she whispered urgently.
Benjamin nodded in agreement. "I will find a way to get it tested without raising suspicion. We must protect Pablo at all costs."
As night fell, Valentina's determination only grew stronger. She knew that the road ahead would be fraught with challenges, but she was resolute in her mission to uncover the truth and safeguard Pablo. With Benjamin by her side, she felt a glimmer of hope, knowing that together they could face whatever dangers lay ahead. Alicia was at his side, watching intently. "Thank you for coming, Doctor. We want to make sure we're doing everything we can for Pablo." "Doctor." Honorio nodded and followed Valentina and Benjamin to Pablo's room. As the doctor began his examination, Valentina noticed how Alicia and Dr. Honorio exchanged glances and whispered to each other too low for her to hear. Valentina remained silent, observing the doctor's every move. "Doctor." Honorio performed a series of tests and reviewed the medications. After a while, he turned to them. "The treatments you're using appear to be appropriate, Doctor." Honorio said in a calm voice, "I see no reason to change anything at this time." Alicia smiled, satisfied. "Thank you, Doctor. I knew we were on the right track." But Valentina wasn't convinced. There was something about the way Dr. Honorio and Alicia interacted that made her feel like she couldn't fully trust his assessment. "Thank you for coming," Dr. Valentina said, trying to maintain her composure. "We will continue to monitor Pablo's condition closely." "Doctor." Honorio nodded and said his goodbyes, leaving Valentina and Benjamin with more questions than answers. That night, as Valentina was caring for Pablo, she noticed that the boy seemed more restless than usual. His small body tensed every time she mentioned Alicia or Eduardo, as if their mere presence caused him fear. Valentina leaned over Pablo and whispered softly, "Pablo, if you can hear me, try to move a little. I want to help you." To her surprise, Pablo moved his fingers slightly. It was a small gesture, but for Valentina, it was confirmation that he was conscious and somehow trying to communicate. She decided to continue recording every little detail. Pablo's reactions were minimal, but each one was an important clue. Valentina knew she had to be patient and observant. The following days passed with a sense of constant unease. Valentina continued to observe Pablo closely, noticing that every time she mentioned something related to his family, the boy showed signs of anxiety. This pattern repeated itself, confirming her suspicions that something in the family dynamic was negatively affecting Pablo. One afternoon, while Valentina was in the kitchen making herself an infusion, Benjamin approached her. "Valentina, I can't stop thinking about what Dr. Honorio said. Something doesn't seem right." Valentina sighed. "Me neither, Mr. Benjamin. He and Alicia seem to be hiding something. We need to find a way to uncover the truth." Benjamin nodded, his face showing renewed determination. "Perhaps we should consider bringing in another doctor, someone from the outside who has no connection to Alicia." Valentina agreed. "That's a good idea, but we have to be very careful. Alicia can't know." Days passed, and Valentina continued to document everything that happened in the house, every little detail, every reaction from Pablo, every suspicious interaction between Alicia and Dr. Honorio. Everything was meticulously noted. She knew they were walking a dangerous line, but she was determined to protect Pablo at all costs. One night, as Valentina was getting ready for bed, she heard a noise in the hallway. She got up silently and opened her bedroom door. From the darkness, she saw Alicia talking quietly to Eduardo. She couldn't hear what they were saying, but the tension in their voices was unmistakable. She went back to her room, her mind racing. She knew she had to go ahead with her plan to bring in another doctor. She couldn't allow Pablo to remain in the hands of people who didn't seem to have his best interests at heart. The next morning, Valentina approached Benjamin. "Mr. Benjamin, we have to act soon. We can't wait any longer. We need to bring in a trusted doctor to assess Pablo." Benjamin nodded, his expression grave. "I'm with you, Valentina. We'll do whatever it takes to save my grandson." Valentina knew it wouldn't be easy, but with Benjamin's help, she was hopeful that they would soon uncover the truth and find a way to save Pablo. The battle was just beginning, and Valentina was ready to face any obstacle that came her way. While they waited for Mr. Benjamin to find a new doctor, the air in the Salazar house was thick with tension as Valentina continued her mission to uncover the truth behind Pablo's condition. One day, as she was organizing Pablo's room, something caught her eye. Underneath a pile of old books and toys, she found a small notebook with a worn cover. Valentina sat down on the edge of Pablo's bed and began to leaf through the diary. The first few pages were filled with childish drawings and notes, but as she progressed, the entries became more detailed and revealing. Today, Mom and Dad were arguing again. Mom was very angry. "I don't understand why they can't get along," Pablo wrote in an entry dated a few months before the accident. Valentina felt a knot in her stomach as she read the boy's words. The tension between Pablo's parents seemed to be a constant in his life. The entries continued, each one revealing a little more of the stress and anxiety that Pablo had been feeling. "Mom said we should leave, but Dad doesn't want to. He's always listening to," Alicia read another entry. Valentina began to realize that Alicia had a greater influence than she had imagined. The diary also contained mentions of Pablo's mother, Carla, who seemed to be a loving and protective figure. Pablo described her fondly, but also with palpable sadness. "I miss Mom. Alicia will never be like her. Dad doesn't understand it either," Pablo wrote in one of the last complete entries. Then Valentina came to a page that seemed particularly important. "Today I discovered something terrible about Alicia. I can't write it here. I'm afraid of what might happen if someone reads it," Pablo wrote. However, the following pages were torn out, leaving a disturbing void in the narrative. Valentina closed the diary, her mind racing with questions. What could Pablo have discovered about Alicia that scared him so much? And more importantly, who had ripped out those pages? Determined to find answers, Valentina sought out Benjamin to share what she had found. "Mr. Benjamin, I found Pablo's diary. He wrote about his mother and also about something he discovered about Alicia," Valentina said, showing him the notebook. Benjamin took the diary and examined it, his expression growing even more serious. "This is disturbing. Pablo never told me about this. What do you think he could have found?" "I don't know, but we have to find out. Also, I want to know more about Carla's death." "What exactly happened?" Valentina asked. Benjamin sighed and sat down heavily in a chair. "Alicia always said it was an accident. Carla fell down the stairs one night. According to her, there were no witnesses, and the police accepted it as a tragic accident. But now, with all of this, I wonder if there's more to it than meets the eye." Valentina became increasingly convinced that there was something dark behind the facade of the Salazar family. She decided to confront Alicia, but she knew she had to do it carefully. That evening, while Alicia was in the kitchen, Valentina approached her. "Mrs. Alicia, I've been caring for Pablo for a while now, and I've noticed some strange things. I think it's important that we talk." Alicia looked at her coldly. "What strange things, Valentina? I don't understand what you're referring to." Valentina remained calm. "I found Pablo's diary. He wrote about his mother and also mentioned that he discovered something terrible about you. The pages were torn out." Alicia's expression hardened, but she tried to maintain her composure. Pablo was very confused after his mother's death. It's natural that he wrote nonsense in his diary. Valentina was not intimidated. Pablo didn't seem confused in his writing. "I think he discovered something important, and we need to know what it is." Alicia approached Valentina, her voice low and dangerous. "You are meddling in matters that don't concern you, Valentina. Your job is to take care of Pablo, not investigate his family. I'm warning you, drop this now, or there will be consequences. Valentina stepped back, knowing that she had to be cautious, but Alicia's threat only strengthened her resolve. She returned to Pablo's room and found Benjamin waiting for her. "How did it go?" asked Benjamin, anxious. As expected, Alicia is not willing to talk, but I think we are on the right track. We need to keep investigating and stay vigilant, Valentina replied. The following days were a mix of tension and discoveries. Valentina continued to closely observe Alicia and Eduardo, noticing small details that she had previously overlooked. The way Alicia was always aware of their every move, the way Eduardo seemed to avoid direct confrontations. One afternoon, while Valentina was caring for Pablo, the boy showed another small sign. His finger moved slightly when Valentina mentioned his mother. "Pablo, if you can hear me, we are trying to help you. You are not alone," whispered Valentina. Benjamin entered the room at that moment and saw the movement. "I saw it, Valentina. He moved. There's hope." Valentina nodded, her heart filled with renewed determination. "Yes, Mr. Benjamin, we can't give up. We must uncover the truth and save Pablo." The battle for the truth continued, and Valentina was more determined than ever to face any obstacle to protect Pablo and uncover the dark secrets of the Salazar family. With each small step forward, she knew they were one step closer to unraveling the mystery and giving Pablo back the life he deserved. Valentina and Benjamin met in the kitchen first thing in the morning. They both knew that the day would be crucial for Pablo. While Alicia and Eduardo were out, it was the perfect time to execute their plan. They had contacted a trusted doctor, Dr. Luis, known for his integrity and medical skills. At 9 sharp, Dr. Luis arrived at the house. He was a tall, thin man with a serious look and determination in his eyes. Valentina and Benjamin greeted him at the door and quickly led him to Pablo's room. "Thank you for coming, Doctor," Luis Benjamin said, his voice filled with urgency. "We need to know the truth about my grandson's condition and the validity of his treatment." "Doctor." Luis nodded and got to work immediately. He reviewed every detail, from the medications to the medical equipment, with a precision that impressed Valentina. After a thorough examination, the doctor turned to them. "What you suspected is true," said Dr. Luis gravely. "Pablo's treatment has been inappropriately manipulated. The medications he has been given are not only ineffective, but they could also have caused him more harm." Valentina felt a wave of anger and helplessness. "What can we do to help him, Doctor?" "Doctor." Luis provided them with a list of correct medications and detailed a new treatment plan. "This is the regimen you must follow. It is essential that you keep these medications out of reach of Alicia and Eduardo." Benjamin nodded, his face determined. "We will do whatever it takes to protect Pablo." As they said goodbye to Dr. Luis, Valentina, and Benjamin knew that the next step would be to confront Alicia and Eduardo about what they had discovered. But they also understood that they had to proceed cautiously so as not to jeopardize their position in the house and therefore Pablo's safety. Later that afternoon, when Alicia and Eduardo returned, Valentina and Benjamin met with them in the living room. The tension in the room was palpable. "Alicia, Eduardo, we need to talk," Benjamin began, his voice firm but controlled. "We've discovered something very disturbing about Pablo's treatment." Alicia frowned and crossed her arms. "What are you talking about, Benjamin?" Valentina stepped forward. "We have reviewed the medications and treatments that Pablo has been receiving. They are not appropriate and may have caused him more harm." Eduardo looked at Alicia suspiciously, but she maintained her cold composure. "I don't know what you're talking about. Everything we have done has been following Dr. Honorio's instructions." Benjamin shook his head. Alicia, we've consulted another doctor, someone trustworthy. He confirmed our suspicions. You are putting Pablo's life at risk. Alicia stood up, her face flushed with anger. You have no right to bring in another doctor without our permission. This is treason, and I will not tolerate it. Valentina remained calm. Our only concern is Pablo's well-being. If you really care about him, you must accept that something is wrong and allow us to follow the new treatment. Eduardo looked conflicted, but before he could say anything, Alicia interrupted him. This is unacceptable. If you continue with this insubordination, you will both be fired immediately. Valentina felt a knot in her stomach. She knew that if they fired her, there would be no one to protect Pablo. She decided to change tactics. I'm sorry if we've caused any trouble, Mrs. Alicia, we only want what's best for Pablo. I will follow your instructions. Alicia looked at Valentina suspiciously but finally nodded. You better. I don't want any more interference. After Alicia and Eduardo left the room, Benjamin turned to Valentina, his face etched with concern. Are you sure it's wise to pretend? Valentina sighed. We have no other choice for now. We need time to implement the new treatment without them finding out. We have to be strategic. Over the next few days, Valentina and Benjamin followed the new treatment plan provided by Dr. Louise. They administered the proper medications in secret and carefully monitored Pablo's reactions. Gradually, they noticed small improvements. Pablo's skin tone seemed healthier, and his vital signs were more stable. One afternoon, as Valentina was changing Pablo's IV, she noticed his fingers twitch slightly. Pablo, if you can hear me, you are getting better. We are here with you, she whispered, feeling a spark of hope. Benjamin, who was watching from the doorway, smiled faintly. We're on the right track, Valentina. We can't give up. The situation at the Salazar house remained tense, but Valentina and Benjamin were more determined than ever to protect Pablo and uncover the whole truth behind his condition. They knew that the confrontation with Alicia and Eduardo was only the beginning. With each passing day, they came closer to unraveling the family's dark secrets and giving Pablo back the life he deserved. The morning dawned quiet, with soft light filtering through the curtains of Pablo's room. Valentina was at his bedside, watching the monitors and checking the boy's vital signs, since they had started the new treatment under Dr. Louise's instructions. The improvements in Pablo's health were evident. There was a different energy in the room, a spark of hope that was not there before. As Valentina adjusted the medication, she noticed a slight movement in Pablo's hand. She stopped, holding her breath, and moved closer. Pablo, can you hear me? She whispered, her voice full of anticipation. Pablo's eyelids began to flutter, and slowly his eyes opened. He blinked several times, trying to focus on Valentina. Pablo, Valentina exclaimed softly, you're awake. The boy tried to speak, but his voice was barely a whisper. Valentina leaned closer, trying to make out his words. Dad and Alicia. Mom, they... Valentina felt a chill run down her spine. It's okay, Pablo. I'm here. Tell me what happened. With effort, Pablo continued. Dad and Alicia were arguing with Mom. Then she fell down the stairs. I heard Dad say it had to look like an accident. Alicia helped him. They didn't want me to tell. Valentina understood the gravity of what Pablo was revealing. It's okay, Pablo. I understand. I'm going to protect you. Determined to act, Valentina got up and headed for the door. I'm going to call the police, Pablo. Don't worry, I'll keep you safe. She hurried downstairs, her heart pounding. She found Benjamin in the kitchen and explained what had happened. Pablo has woken up, and he told me that Eduardo and Alicia are involved in his mother's death. We have to call the police now. Benjamin nodded gravely. I'll make the call. We can't let this go on. While Benjamin contacted the authorities, Valentina returned to Pablo's room. "The police are on their way, Pablo. Everything is going to be all right," she assured him, gently taking his hand. Within minutes, 2 police officers arrived. They quickly went up to Pablo's room and listened intently as Valentina and Benjamin explained the situation. One of the officers, Sergeant Gomez, approached Pablo with an empathetic expression. "Pablo, I know this is difficult, but we need to know everything you remember." Pablo, though weak, tried to speak clearly. "Dad and Alicia were arguing with Mom. Then she fell down the stairs. I heard Dad say it had to look like an accident. Alicia helped him. They didn't want me to tell." Sergeant Gomez nodded, taking notes. "Thank you, Pablo. You are very brave for telling us this. We are going to make sure justice is done." With the information provided by Pablo, the officers arrested Eduardo and Alicia. The news spread quickly through the house, creating an atmosphere of chaos and tension. Eduardo tried to deny the accusations while Alicia maintained a cold and controlled facade. "This is a misunderstanding," Eduardo insisted. "We would never hurt Carla. This is all a lie." Alicia, for her part, remained silent, her eyes cold and calculating. But the truth had already come to light, and the evidence was overwhelming. They were handcuffed and taken to the police station for questioning. With Eduardo and Alicia out of the house, Valentina and Benjamin felt a sense of relief, but they knew that the road to Pablo's recovery was just beginning. "We need to take Pablo to the hospital for a complete checkup," Valentina said. "We need to make sure he gets the best possible care." Benjamin nodded. "I agree. We can't take any chances." At the hospital, Pablo was examined by a team of doctors who confirmed that he was out of immediate danger. However, his recovery would be a long and delicate process. Valentina decided to stay by his side, dedicating all her time and energy to making sure he received the care he needed. Over the next few days, Valentina and Benjamin worked together to support Pablo in his recovery. Each day, the boy showed small improvements, his strength slowly returning. Although the road ahead was uncertain, there was a glimmer of hope that illuminated each day. One afternoon, while Valentina was sitting by Pablo's bed, the boy looked at her with a mixture of gratitude and sadness. "Thank you for helping me, Valentina," he said in a weak voice. Valentina smiled, feeling a warmth in her heart. "You don't have to thank me, Pablo. I will always be here for you. We are going to get through this together." Benjamin, who was standing in the doorway, watched the scene with an expression of pride and relief. He knew that although the road had been hard, they were finally on the right path to give Pablo back the life he deserved. With Alicia and Eduardo detained and facing charges related to Carla's death and the attempted murder of Pablo, the atmosphere in the Salazar house changed dramatically. The constant tension dissipated, leaving room for hope and recovery. Valentina and Benjamin focused entirely on Pablo's well-being, ensuring he received the care and love he so desperately needed. Pablo, although still weak, showed constant signs of improvement. The first few days in the hospital were crucial. Under the watchful eye of Valentina and the medical team, Pablo slowly began to regain his strength. His movements, once minimal, became more frequent and coordinated. Gradually, he began to speak more, albeit with effort and in a slow manner. As the days passed, Pablo was able to sit up on his own and eventually take his first steps with the help of Valentina and a walker. Each small step forward was celebrated with joy and hope, both by Valentina and by Benjamin, who was always nearby to support his grandson. As Pablo continued his physical recovery, he also began to heal emotionally. The nightmares that had plagued him subsided, and he began to talk more about his mother, Carla, and the good memories he had of her. These moments of sharing memories were therapeutic, allowing him to release the pain and fear he'd accumulated for so long. The day Pablo was discharged from the hospital was a significant milestone. Valentina and Benjamin took him home, where they were met with a warm and emotional welcome from the house staff, who had also rallied around in their support for Pablo. Back home, Valentina continued to oversee Pablo's recovery. Each day they worked together on physical therapy exercises, strengthening his muscles and improving his mobility. Pablo showed admirable determination, facing each challenge with courage and optimism. One day, while they were in the garden, Pablo stopped and looked at Valentina. "Valentina, I want to learn to ride my bike again," he said with a shy smile. Valentina chuckled softly. "Of course, Pablo. We'll start slowly, but I know you can do it." With Benjamin's help, they began teaching Pablo to ride his bike again. The first few attempts were difficult, but with patience and support, Pablo was soon able to pedal confidently. Pablo's laughter echoed through the garden, a sound that filled Valentina and Benjamin with immense joy. Meanwhile, the legal proceedings against Alicia and Eduardo moved forward. Both were sentenced to long prison terms for their crimes, which provided a sense of justice and closure for the Salazar family. Benjamin, in a moment of reflection, approached Valentina. "Valentina, I'm sorry I didn't see what was happening sooner. I feel responsible for not protecting Pablo and Carla," Benjamin said, his voice filled with remorse. Valentina looked at him with understanding. "You can't blame yourself, Mr. Benjamin. The important thing is that we are here for Pablo now. We are doing everything we can to give him a happy and safe life." Benjamin nodded, his eyes welling up with tears. "You are right. Thank you for everything you have done for us, Valentina. I don't know what we would have done without you." Over time, the Salazar house began to transform into a place of love and unity. Valentina and Benjamin worked together to create an environment where Pablo could thrive. Family activities, outings, and quality time were organized, strengthening the bonds between them. Pablo, with each passing day, became stronger and happier. His laughter filled the house, and his indomitable spirit inspired everyone around him. Valentina, seeing him flourish, felt a deep satisfaction and a renewed purpose in life. One afternoon, as they were all sitting in the garden, Pablo turned to Valentina and Benjamin. "Thank you for everything. I'm so happy to have you both in my life." Valentina smiled, taking Pablo's hand. "We will always be here for you, Pablo. You are a very important part of our lives." Benjamin nodded, his heart full of pride and love. "That's right, Pablo. You are our hero." Pablo's recovery had not only been a journey of physical healing but also of emotional and familial rebuilding. Through his bravery and the unwavering support of Valentina and Benjamin, the Salazar family found new hope and a life full of promise. As time passed, Pablo made a full recovery, something that at one point seemed like a distant dream. Every day brought new victories, from the first words he spoke clearly to his first steps without assistance. Valentina's hard work and Benjamin's dedication had paid off, radically transforming Pablo's life. One morning, as they were having breakfast together in the bright kitchen of the Salazar house, Benjamin broke the silence with an unexpected proposal. "Valentina, your presence in this house has been a blessing. I don't know how to thank you for all you have done for Pablo and for us. I would like you to consider staying with us permanently as part of the family. We need someone like you to help us keep this home filled with love and care." Valentina, surprised and moved, smiled warmly. "It would be an honor, Mr. Benjamin. I have come to love this family as my own. I would be delighted to stay and continue to help in any way I can." With Valentina officially part of the family, the Salazar household flourished. Every corner of the house echoed with laughter and conversation, a stark contrast to the tension and fear that once prevailed. Pablo's life improved dramatically, not only in terms of his physical health, but also in his emotional and social well-being. Pablo began to participate in social and school activities. His return to school was an event filled with emotion. Although he was a little nervous, Valentina and Benjamin encouraged him with words of support. "You're ready," Pablo Valentina told him. "You are strong and brave. Everything is going to be okay." On his first day back at school, Pablo was warmly embraced by his classmates and teachers. News of his miraculous recovery had spread throughout the community, and everyone was overjoyed to see him return. With his trademark smile, Pablo quickly reintegrated, showcasing remarkable progress in both his studies and social interactions. During weekends, the Salazar family hosted gatherings at their home, transforming their house into a hub of celebration and connection. These events not only honored Pablo's incredible journey, but also served to strengthen family and community bonds. Friends, neighbors, and former colleagues of Carla filled the house with an abundance of positive energy and unwavering support. At one such gathering, while everyone enjoyed a lively barbecue in the garden, Benjamin stood up to address the guests with a heartfelt toast. The sun cast a warm glow, adding a golden hue to the joyous scene. "Today we celebrate not only the remarkable recovery of my beloved grandson, but also the resilience and unity of our family," Benjamin began, his voice filled with emotion. "Valentina, words cannot express our gratitude for your dedication and love. You have become a cornerstone in our lives, and we are eternally thankful." The guests raised their glasses in unison, echoing Benjamin's sentiments. Valentina, moved by the heartfelt acknowledgement, smiled through tears. The gathering continued with laughter, stories, and an overwhelming sense of community, underscoring the strength that comes from unity and the unwavering support of loved ones. Valentina, deeply moved by Benjamin's words, raised her glass with a heartfelt smile. "Thank you, Mr. Benjamin. This family has given me as much as I have given them. I am truly grateful to be part of this wonderful community." Everyday life in the Salazar household continued to blossom. Pablo, brimming with energy and hope, immersed himself in extracurricular activities, discovering a profound passion for both art and sports. Valentina and Benjamin stood by his side, ensuring he had every opportunity to flourish and grow. One serene afternoon, as Valentina and Pablo painted together in the garden, Pablo turned to her with a serious expression. "Valentina, do you think Mom would be proud of me?" Valentina set down her paintbrush and gazed at Pablo with deep affection. "I'm certain your mom would be incredibly proud of you, Pablo. You've endured so much and emerged stronger and braver. You are an inspiration to all of us." Pablo's face lit up with a satisfied smile. "I want to be someone who makes a difference, like you and Grandpa." Valentina felt a swell of emotion. "And you will, Pablo. You already are." With each passing day, the Salazar family grew more resilient and connected. Valentina took on the role of a mother figure to Pablo, guiding and supporting him through every challenge and triumph. Benjamin, revitalized by his grandson's transformation and the newfound positive atmosphere in his home, discovered a renewed joy in life. Their home, once shadowed by tension and uncertainty, now flourished with love, hope, and unity. The bond between Valentina, Pablo, and Benjamin had become unbreakable, empowering them to face the future with unwavering strength and optimism. The legal proceedings against Alicia and Eduardo concluded with lengthy sentences for both, providing the much-needed closure that allowed the Salazar family to move forward unburdened by the past. Although the outcome was painful, it was a crucial step towards peace and justice. The garden of the Salazar house, once a place of painful memories, was transformed into a vibrant space of life and celebration. Flowers blossomed, fruit trees thrived, and the sound of Pablo's joyous laughter filled the air. Every corner of the house radiated hope and renewal. Pablo's journey of recovery stood as a powerful testament to resilience and the transformative power of unconditional love. Through adversity, the Salazar family discovered the strength to unite and overcome their challenges. Valentina's dedication and compassion illuminated how one person can profoundly impact the lives of others. The nurse was hired to take care of a boy in a vegetative state, and she suddenly discovered a mysterious vial among his medications. Through her unwavering dedication and the support of Pablo's loving grandfather, Valentina uncovered hidden truths and brought hope and healing to the Salazar family. Their journey from uncertainty to unity and joy is a powerful reminder of the resilience of the human spirit and the transformative power of love and justice. As you reflect on this story, what have you learned so far? Please comment below with one thing you have learned and how you plan to bring it into practice in your own life. We would love to hear your thoughts and experiences. If you like this video, please leave your comment below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thank you for watching, and we look forward to sharing more meaningful stories with you.